On this episode of Reels Talk, we'll be doing our review of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, Amazing Amanda here with my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
What's up, everybody?
And today we are going to be doing our review of Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
With spoilers.
With spoilers.
Just in case.
Because we have to talk about spoilers.
Yeah, and we want to talk about the Easter eggs and the after credits and what could it mean for the future of Shazam movies?
If that is a thing, which
we'll talk about towards the end. But
exactly.
All right, Amazing Amanda, you and I went to watch this last night, and the theater was
not packed.
Weird. It's not packed for a movie that came out on a Thursday, and I realize it's the tail end of what is known as, I guess, the Snyderverse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Tail end of that, before James Gunn reboots it. But some movies we know are going to get to be part of that reboot. Like Aquaman, I think is still going to be part of that universe.
Yeah, exactly.
So Shazam, it's the same cast. They're back, with the exception of the lady that played Mary Marvel, because now Grace Caroline Curry playing both the role of Mary Marvel and Mary. Interesting
enough.
Well, she's old enough, right?
Yeah.
So they just did her makeup a little bit different, and her hair is a little bit different.
And her parents can't recognize her.
It's the same director. It's the same director.
David Sandberg, yep.
And was it the same writers?
Yes, same writers as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the writer of Fast and the Furious, I think, too. He's been in that. So apparently...
Hence the Easter egg of Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
I've seen all of the Fast and the Furious movies.
But yeah, so this one takes place, I think, a few years after the original Shazam, where now Billy and his family, or else at least the siblings in the family, all have the Shazam superpowers.
Yes.
Yes, and they have been creating quite a ruckus around Philadelphia, and sometimes they work together, sometimes like Jack Dylan Grazer's character, he likes to go off and do his own thing and be his own hero, and Billy's having a hard time bringing everyone together and just being the leader of this group of superheroes. And that's kind of how the movie starts, right? Is with Billy in the Shazam, Captain Marvel, whatever the form is.
Shazam, let's play it safe.
Shazam. They call him Shazam in the, they say that's his name by the end of the movie. He's at a pediatrician's office as Shazam, talking to the pediatrician, trying to like uncover his deep-seated issues that he is dealing with.
And that's where we see our first Easter egg with Annabelle, because this is the director of Annabelle.
Yes, director of Annabelle, yeah. So we have our first little Easter egg.
Which Grace Caroline Curry was also in the Annabelle movie. So
there we go.
That's a little bit of a connection. You mentioned Billy Batson, but honestly, this movie didn't have a lot of Billy Batson. As a matter of fact, it didn't have a lot of the kids in there.
Except for Jack Dylan Grazer.
It focuses more, because we have to nerf those characters, right?
Yes.
We can't be super powered characters
the whole time
fighting these two goddesses or three goddesses.
Yes.
So it felt really weird. It felt like, oh, okay, this is more of the superhero stuff. And they're doing a bad job because they're known as the Philly Fiascos.
Which are Philadelphia Fiascos, which is just how that's how Philadelphia works.
Is that how it is? Because she can say that she's from there.
I am from there, yes.
Mm-hmm. So we are introduced to 3 new characters that are new comics. They've never appeared. The Daughters of Atlas. Right? It's the Daughters of Atlas.
Daughters of Atlas, yep.
You have Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren and another young lady that plays the third goddess.
Rachel Zegler.
Thank you.
From the West Side, the remake of West Side Story. That's where she got her.
Oh, okay. Haven't seen it. So the character of Rachel Zegler,
Anthea,
sneaks into the high school trying to find these heroes of justice, because they blame them for taking their father's power, because the wizard Shazam put the power in
inside
that
the staff.
And then when the staff was broken in the first movie, it kind of got rid of that power, and now it's in these kids.
Yeah.
So they're trying to find these kids. They never really specified why. They thought it was a revenge story?
I think it's like a revenge story. So essentially, the movie does start out with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu's goddess characters going to a museum to retrieve the broken staff. They turn everyone to stone after Lucy Liu's character does some mind trickery on everyone and gets them all to beat up each other. And they also kill the one character from Schitt's Creek. Yep. After they turn him to stone, they knock him down. So I guess he cannot be revived. So basically, when Billy had broken the staff in the last movie, all these goddesses were trapped. Their world was like trapped and concealed, hidden away. The wizard did this because they said these goddesses are dangerous hid them away, kept them trapped. By breaking the staff, it broke the spell so they could escape. Now they want revenge. They already have the wizard in custody. I thought the wizard had died, but apparently he's in this other realm where they were in prison and in tattered robes.
Yeah, they brought him back so weird because I thought he was dead.
I thought he was
dead. And they make a joke about it. Like the kids are like, "Oh, I thought you died."
Yeah.
But
it's fine. We need Jaimin Hunsao, and I'm always happy to have him around because he does bring some gravitas to what could otherwise be a very silly role.
But it was a silly role. He kept calling Freddy the wrong name.
Freebie.
He called him Pete, Jack. He kept calling him the wrong name.
Yeah.
So there is that comedy that was in the first one, but I think in this one it was a little too much. And yeah, so they go after the kids. You see them depower them, and you think that Freddy was being used by this girl Athena.
Yeah, Anne. We'll call her Anne because that's what her name is when she's in the real world. We think that she knew that his normal persona knew the gods or knew the Shazam characters because they came and had lunch. Then they pretended so that he could get popular. I think is the idea behind that. But he's not popular. He's grown up quite a bit since the last movie, but all of them have. So it is what it is.
So
puberty's a bitch.
Wow, I didn't know we were going to be talking about that after school special. The kid Freddy gets kidnapped by these goddesses, and they put all of Philly inside of this magical dome where they can't get out and nothing can get in.
Most of Philadelphia.
And they never really touch upon that.
I'm sure Man Young's safe.
Okay. Yes, apparently, if you're from Philly, Amanda would know. She'll break it down. She was breaking down the streets for me in the theater.
I said it wasn't accurate. Okay.
So it felt like they never really did much with that.
No,
so they can't get out, nobody can get in, and then Billy Batson asks again Shazam instead of Billy Batson says, "Hey, I have a plan. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get Freddy back. We're gonna trade our powers for Freddy, but then we're gonna psych him out." It seems like a horrible plan, and it seems like they were just kind of winging it.
Very much so.
Which is the way I feel about this movie with the plot. I don't think this movie felt like it was planned. I think like this movie, it felt like they were winging it.
Stuff happened.
Just because in the first movie, we see the setup for things, and it didn't really happen. In this, it's all about Billy mentioning twice that, I'm going to be 18 soon.
I'm aging out of the foster system.
That means I'm going to be aged out of the foster system, and you see that twice in what's supposed to be an emotional scene, and it really didn't come across that way because feels like there were things that were missing from here.
Yes.
And I feel like that about the whole movie. So there's this big fight, a bunch of creatures are resurrected, brought to life.
A little MacGuffin called the Golden Apple that would become the Tree of Life.
The Yggdrasil, I assume, right?
Yes.
The Tree of Life.
Exactly.
For legend, and then the sisters are betraying each other. Anne is a
good character now.
Good character, which kind of came out of nowhere. I guess Freddy's cute, but is he that cute? But you know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of felt like, again, they were winging the story. So characters are fighting each other. There was a couple of, I will be honest, I laughed 3 times out loud.
Yeah, me too.
In the theater, I genuinely laughed 3 times. But that was it. I felt like a lot of the comedic things in there started getting on my nerves a lot because we were missing that perfect balance of that I found in the first one of drama, wholesomeness, and comedy.
Yes.
So the parents get involved in the last act. They're like, "Oh, our kids are superheroes.
How come we never knew?"
Because the kids came out to them, right? And
yes.
They were like, "Hey, we're the superheroes. We're the Philly fiascos." And they're like, "Oh, right."
Yeah.
So we'll help, and they, along with the wizard Shazam, go and help and defeat these creatures like unicorns.
Yes.
Well, not the unicorns. Unicron. Sorry, Transformers fan. Unicorns helped out the kids because they got
in that. Yeah. But then we had like the most obvious like Deus Ex Machina where we have Helen Mirren's character is supposedly killed.
Yeah,
really killed by this dragon that her sister Lucy Liu's character was riding, and Shazam, he goes onto the roof where she's dead and revives her with his electric powers because he has a plan, and he needs her to like lower the dome so that he can encase this. He's gonna make a bomb to blow up the tree, which then, of course, because this happens with every superhero, it's not just this one. If you blow up the core of all the powers, everything else just disintegrates, right? Because that's what happens, like in everything. That's how it goes.
That's the way I would defeat a villain.
Yeah.
You go after the main book of the dead, everything falls
the whole time, and I was like, wait a minute. That just seemed a little...
It was weird. And then she
cheap
dies.
to me. And then she still dies. I was like, this is cheap.
But even weirder to me, oh my gosh, was
The action. No.
Okay, the death of
Billy
Shazam.
Batson.
When Shazam sacrifices, making the ultimate sacrifice, and like Amanda was saying, that he's encased in this dome with the dragon and the tree, blows it up, calling Shazam, and dies, right? And his brother's like, oh my gosh, my brother, I love you. Who I thought killed it. What is that kid's name? Jack
Dylan Grazer.
That guy's range was so good. Like, he's crying and you believe it. Like when he's betrayed by the girl, when he's running after the girl for, like, there's this weird scene where the dragon is just breathing on them instead of breathing fire on them. And when Lucy Liu's like, kill them. I don't know why it didn't kill him. It just kept breathing on them, and they kept getting pushed. That was a very strange scene. It was a very strange scene. I did not understand. Dragon breathe air balls? What is it doing?
What was the point of the dragon's breath?
But so when he dies, you know, they take him and they get him buried
on Mount Olympus.
It's a magical.
It's the gods. It's the gods.
But there's a tree there, and they bury him, and then
this is pantheon. You know, yeah.
This is where we get our cameo that the
trailer
TV spot spoiled was Wonder Woman.
I guess because Gal Gadot's never coming back, according to everything. So maybe that's why.
I don't know. But she comes in and she's like, oh, okay, we'll just resurrect him. Like, they're making jokes while there's a dead kid in the ground. I'm like, okay, I know they're going to bring him back, but this is just really off-putting. And then she brings him back, right? And then he starts hitting on her, because it's not Billy Batson that comes back.
Why couldn't she bring back Superman, though?
We don't need to talk about this.
Okay,
we don't need to talk about
this.
Because she didn't have the golden apple? I don't know.
Yeah, it don't matter.
All I know is, like, he comes back from the dead, and he starts hitting on her, and she just smiles like Gal does. And
which they're like thousands of years apart.
Looking pretty, and yeah, they make it, parents are like, oh man, our kids are really into older women. Which, yeah.
Because the other girl, even though she looks like she's in her 20s, she's actually 6,000 years old. Yeah. The other goddess. Yeah.
So, and that's where it ends, right? Like the kids are all together. The Shazam.
The wizard gets a new look.
Okay, he's going to Disney
coming in looking like sexy Jaimin Hunsow.
Whoa, okay. That's not
hat,
what I would have called him.
Nice little cravat. He's got the whole thing.
He's got the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Shaved his beard.
Shaved his beard off.
Less homeless and going to see the world with his staff. Meanwhile, leaving the kids with their powers, and they are all Shazammed up. So then we get 2 after credits, which, again, spoilers, but the first after credit was the recruitment of Shazam by Harcourt and Diebeard.
Yep,
I can never remember his name.
That's how
from the Peacemaker show, and of course from Suicide Squad 2. Recruiting in a very Nick Fury style, but it's hard not to compare Marvel DC with these things. But recruiting Shazam, not Billy Batson, for the Justice Society. And the whole time, you know, that, and whenever he got struck by lightning and he's got the black outfit, I'm like, boy, Black Adam would have been a really cool villain to add to this movie. Oh, yeah. Like, it would have been that was the original idea before The Rock stepped in and was like, no I need my own movie. Is that how he sounds?
Yes.
I'm not making fun of him. He's a big guy, so if that's what he wants, that's what he gets. Like. That's the first one, right? Like, and then they're like, well, you want to join the Justice Society? And he makes jokes. Again, my gosh, this guy just won't stop with the jokes. The Justice Society and Justice League are very similar names. Weren't you calling them the Avengers League? Or, you know,
he made jokes like that, yes.
Which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then the last Easter egg is the return of Mark Strong as
Dr. Sivana.
And Mr. Mind, the little caterpillar from the first movie.
Yes.
Making plans again. And the joke is, he's still in prison. He's like, I've been here for years. You told me you were going to get me out.
Like, I'm a caterpillar. I move slow.
And he's like, I'll be back. And he leaves. And you're like, what? Is this really? So my thing is, and that is really the movie. That is the movie. I don't think we missed anything. I mean, there's a couple Easter eggs, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, I mean, that's the general plot of the film, yes.
So yeah, let's dive into some Easter eggs really quick.
Well, you know more of those than I do.
So we had Michael Gray, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
The gentleman that played Billy Batson in the 70s morning show.
Okay.
Come in, and he's the one that played a cameo wearing the exact red and yellow colored shirt, and he was like, Captain Marvel. I think that's what I heard him.
Yeah, he did say that. Okay. Yeah, he did say Captain Marvel, because the guy, they haven't just created like superhero names, except for Freddy keeps calling his superhero version, played by Adam Brody, Mr. Every Power, Everything, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And
I forgot to mention that at the end. That's what he's like, what's my superhero name? And he's like, what do you think it is? Shazam!
Shazam! Oh, okay. Yeah, because they can't use Captain Marvel. Got it.
Not legally.
Not legally, yeah. So but he did make that
comment. The burning violin, which was in the first movie, comes back in this one, and that's from a Captain
Yeah, because they do hang out a lot in their lair, and that's how they send messages to the goddesses, is through Steve, the pen that's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That made me crack up too when they're reading the note from the kids and it's should we proofread this? No, let's go ahead and send it. I trust Steve, and I just thought it was funny.
That was good, yeah.
But that's about the only Easter eggs that really. I mean, Easter eggs, of course, like when he's talking about like Aquaman and Batman.
Of course, all that stuff.
You see a little bit of those clips in the background, but I don't really consider that Easter eggs. But really more things like, oh, that's from the comic, or that's really cool that they had this actor that played the original character in the TV show. Now, the story, like, okay, now before we review it, let's talk about the plot. To me, seemed pretty lazy. The characters, the villains, to me, were very unoriginal, very almost like beginning of the DCEU type of villains, very one-dimensional. Their daughters, they don't have a lot of purpose. We could tell right away that the kid was going to be one of the goddesses. We were like, oh, obviously she's a plant.
It was like,
she's being really forceful with Freddy, not in a physical way.
And that could just be the way, the way it was written. It was so obvious. And with those characters, because you said they're not from the comics.
No, the three
I'm surprised.
ladies.
I'm surprised that's the best they come up with, because you have Helen Mirren, Academy Award winning Helen Mirren. You could have done so much with her.
They were good, but for what they
for what their purpose was. It was about a MacGuffin. And I know a lot of superhero films are, but you can still have it be about these MacGuffins and like the staff or the apple, and make a good story around it. But we had these MacGuffins with a very disjointed story. It dove into the action. The first act I felt was really short. We barely got to see the Shazam family fight together as a Shazam family, except for in the first act.
I was okay with that. I was okay with seeing the family for a little bit. You're talking about the bridge scene?
Yes, on the bridge scene, yeah.
Okay, I was okay with that because it's a little bit, but I wanted to be more focused on the kids, like hanging out. That's what I liked about it. That dynamic between like the kids together, and then you get to see the adult versions of the kids and the superpowers. We didn't get to see a lot of that. We got to see either, too much of the Shazam family, and not enough of the kids, or Freddy being part of the Shazam family as a kid and interacting with them.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that I think they missed out on, because as a sequel, I don't want to complain that this, suffers from sequelitis, I guess.
Yeah.
But they reuse a lot of the same things that they did in the first one, but not adding anything new to them. At least that's the way it felt to me.
Complexity, yeah. I mean, they had little things here, right? Like Mary wants to do something else. She wants to go to college, right? So that's her whole thing. And they have little piece of that. Freddy wants to be his own man and do his own thing. So they had little piece of that. But because the story's trying to move so quickly into whatever the conflict is, we didn't really get those moments. And then when you get moments like that, which when Billy Batson was Asher Angel and not being Shazam, played by Zachary Levi, I felt like Asher Angel showed more emotion and more depth as a teenager than when he's being portrayed as an adult by Zachary Levi. But
I think that might have to do with the actor, though, because in the first movie,
or the direction.
I had a big problem with Zachary Levi and what is his name again? Billy Batson?
Asher Angel.
They seem like two different characters.
Yes, when they played each other, right?
Not so much so in this one, but still, it's there. Like Zachary Levi seems like an immature. 10-year-old kid, whereas
Asher Angel
seems like an actual teenager that's going
troubled. Yes,
that's going through this whole phase of like not being accepted, getting ready to get kicked out, not being accepted by a family, and almost like an emo face. But you don't see that in Captain Marvel. Whereas
crazy.
Yes, everything is a joke, and
even the way what I really like. The way he talks when he's supposed to be Billy Batson as an adult, Zachary Levi, right, as Shazam, he doesn't talk like that as Asher Angel, as Billy Batson. He talks as exaggerated, childlike, not even like I would consider a 17-year-old would talk. More like
that's what I meant, like a young kid.
Yeah, it's so.
Pretend to be an adult.
Did they not watch Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan?
I know you are not going with that.
Whatever. They did a really good job of her embodying Lindsay Lohan. I'm sorry, but that's a good example.
George Burns in 18 again. But anyway, all you need to do is hang out with these actors, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
the
they
kid
did that.
needs to hang out with the
Or it's the writing. See, in my mind, it's the writing. It's that the person, for some reason, when they have to, the person who was writing like, oh, we have not adult Shazam now. How can we make him really stand out, be a kid? We have to make him even goofier as adult Shazam. That's how I feel like it was the writing.
If the writing was written before they casted somebody, which we know isn't true.
No, because
if they were like, if we're casting a 10-year-old, then this is the way he would act as an adult.
No, I still think it could still be the same case because it happened in the regular Shazam, but they didn't have enough of it, so you're like, I'm not as bothered by it. Yeah. But in this one, it's a lot.
I think everybody else did a pretty good job though. Like Megan Good, I think she did a cute, like she was adorable.
Yes.
You know, because she's supposed to be a little, the little girl.
She's so good.
Everybody else.
Adam Brody did amazing.
Yeah, he was funny as the character of Freddy.
Did you know that he was originally cast in George Miller's The Flash back in 2007? Even went out to film until the writer's strike cut it. He would have been a Flash if not for the writer's strike and tax issues. Yeah, I wanted to see him as another superhero.
I didn't know that.
I love Adam Brody.
You might get your chance.
Maybe.
And yeah. The one scene I did like, though, that I thought, okay, this is kind of more of the stuff that I want to see is the family having each other's back, is when they're coming out as superheroes and Pedro's like, I'm gay. At the same time, everybody's like, we're superheroes. And then everybody's like, yeah, we know, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought that was a wonderful way to react to the brother coming out, and then everybody's supportive as a family because they love each other. And I thought, oh, man, that's kind of what I wanted more of, like the dynamic of the family, and you don't really get that because I understand that they're all supposed to be doing their own thing, but the kids, but the kids together as a family is what I enjoyed about the first one.
Yes. What I disliked the most, what really just like this is okay. They have the final action sequence, and Billy is able to get the dragon and Lucy Liu in the smaller dome around the tree. Helen Mirren dies. Calypso, I think. Yeah, because Hespera is Helen Mirren's character. Mm-hmm. And this is be the big fight scene, but it has to all pause. The whole thing just go whoop, so he can have a tender moment with his whole family and a bunch of random people behind them, which is always, I feel like, so awkward. We get to have these exaggerated like moments.
You're talking about the
sympathy.
Spock and Kirk moment?
Yeah, the Spock and Kirk moment.
I was okay with that.
I was not in the way it was in between. It just made the action. It went like action.
It happens in Power Rangers all the time. The villain's always waiting on the superhero to turn into. Yep.
Because the Power Rangers is the epitome.
Like they're waiting around the background. You done transforming into a giant? Okay. Let's do it.
But that just for me. That was part of it. I was like, why did they write that in there?
There could have been a better way around it.
Yes, they could have. Yeah, it could have been another section. It could have right before he decided on the plan. That should have been when they had their moment, and then the plan comes to fruition, and he kills himself. Essentially, sacrifices himself
until Wonder Woman shows up. The special effects. I thought the dragon looked pretty cool.
Dragon, they spent a lot of money on that dragon.
I think that's where they spent all the money.
HBO does, yeah.
Because the special effects were bad in this.
Yeah.
There was a lot of green screen. There was a lot of that in this movie. The cool special effect, it made me miss the special effects of Inception and the first Doctor Strange movie with
Anthea's power.
Yeah, how she's able to shape buildings and worlds around.
Shift like
I thought that was cool. I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah,
but that and the dragon were the big things that stood out. There were some practical effects, I think, with some of the monsters towards the end.
Yeah.
But you know, much like the first one suffered from that too, though. The first one suffered from the hokiness of the special effects.
Yeah, it had some bad moments with those the demons in the first one.
I like the costumes though. The costume designs on the characters were good. You know, they weren't CG. There was actually people wearing these costumes. Whether they were wearing muscle suits or not, I don't know. But they were not CG'd. I appreciate that. The music was lacking too. Like they used actual soundtracks. They used but not a lot of the score.
Yeah.
But then again, the first one to me didn't have a memorable score.
No, I don't think that was what the draw was on it.
I think that's it.
The only thing memorable of the score was when they played the Wonder Woman theme, and you're like, wow.
Oh, the Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, when she comes out to go resurrect him.
Resurrect him.
I'm glad she could resurrect him. I don't know.
Well,
how we decide on that, but
I don't know. Okay, so let's give it a rating and then talk about like what could this mean for the future of Shazam and DC movies. Ladies first, what would you give this out of 10? And if you're watching this later, by all means, please
comment down below
what you liked about it, because
what you liked, disliked, what your overall rating is, because we'd love to hear from you guys. So my overall rating, given the writing and some of the acting, I actually thought that Jack Dylan Grazer overacted. but that could be just a direction. So I will, I'll take it as it is. I give this a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10? I think that's fair enough. It's not... Okay, when grading Ant-Man, I never liked the Ant-Man movies, right?
Yeah,
so Ant-Man 3,
did.
it's not my least favorite Ant-Man, but it was just an Ant-Man movie that I was like, yeah, that sounds about
right. It's an Ant-Man movie.
This, to me, I love the first one so much. I think I gave the first one a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was an excellent movie.
We did review that if you want to go back and see it.
It's a couple of years ago. And it was a breath of fresh air. It was nice. It was like, it felt like its own little pocket universe. Whereas this one's like, we got to fit it into the ongoing whatever the hell they're building. For me, this is a 5.5 out of 10.
5.5, yeah.
Yeah. It sucks because I like the cast. And if you have the same team from the first movie, I don't know what was missing, but I do feel like something was missing from this movie to make it a great movie. And it's a movie. It's not horrible. It's not the best.
They should have just put Black Adam.
But it's also not memorable. It's not one that I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Shazam and the Fury of
I wouldn't do it, like, I wouldn't go and rewatch it in theaters. I mean, I'll wait till it comes out on HBO Max and watch it then, you know, but...
So speaking of HBO Max and the future of HBO and superhero movies from the DCEU or whatever they're calling it now.
DC
Studios. What does it mean with that after credit scene?
I don't know.
Was this film before Gunn took over?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because I think this was supposed to come out, you know, last year or whatnot.
Early last year.
But that still gives them time to film that end credit scene with Harcourt and Diebeard, because if he wants to keep Zachary Levi in there at some point or in some way into the DC universe, that would be the way to do it.
I mean, that would be the only reason to leave that in there, right?
But same with the other end credit scene. And let's just for the sake of...
the other end credit scene is more for fans. That's an Easter egg. That's more like, oh, it's
It may never come to fruition.
Which, if there never is a third movie, I don't think it will. But with the first after credit with Diebeard and Harcourt, like, I thought, okay, they have enough time to remove it if they really want people to forget about this era of DC before James Gunn takes over. But why? So why didn't they? Does that mean that Shazam might be one of these characters that stays in this Gunn universe of the DC?
It could. I mean,
Studios universe.
When you think about the first phase that Gunn mentioned, I mean, it's going to take them, if they decide to do a Shazam 3 or even put him in, it's going to take a few years to write,
By then, that kid, I mean...
Oh, the kid, well yeah,
although, that is a good way to write it off. Billy Batson still could have died.
Yeah, exactly.
We never saw Billy again, right? No, we did.
We did. He was in the end. But I mean, at this point, if it's been 3 years, they can let years pass, and eventually the kids grow up. They're still Shazam, right? I mean, regardless.
But that's just the
appeal of it is gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But they had to know that when they were deciding to do this movie, where it was going to be about kids becoming adults.
Yeah.
Look at Zach. I mean, that Jack Dylan Grazer, he's not a kid anymore. He is he is grown up.
Neither is Grace.
Yeah, neither is Grace.
Looks like an adult. I mean, she's an adult. I guess they all are, right? With the exception
of Darla. That little girl is not an adult.
She's adorable.
Yeah, she's cute.
But yeah, that was our review, and that's our thoughts, the Easter eggs. Let us know what you want to, if you want to see Shazam back in any. I mean, a Justice Society movie would work, right?
It would work. Yeah, he'd be a good addition. We already know we have the
Dr.
Justice
Fate,
Society.
we have Hawkman.
I'd love to see them brought back.
Cyclone and Atom Smasher, even though they kind of wasted a little bit.
I wish The Rock didn't have the ego he had, because it would have been a better movie if it was...
I didn't mind Black Adam as much.
Well, it's not that. It's just, it would have helped Shazam out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that at this point it's people just like, well, I'm ready for the next phase. This doesn't matter. I think it's one of those things. Like,
especially when Gunn's saying stuff about how he's going to be directing that All-Star Superman and talking about when it's released and all that stuff. I mean, people are excited.
But if you want to know more about that, make sure you tune into our live shows every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with the exception of next Wednesday. It'll be at 9 p.m. I just haven't told my co-host about that yet.
That was a surprise.
Surprise! Along with everybody. It's what we do here. We're like Shazam. We wing it. We wing it.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, that's everything I've got for Shazam right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshop for some great Near Mint Condition merchandise, and also on Patreon. For $1 a month or more, you can support us here on everything that we do. And last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint. Good journey, everyone, and we will see you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
On this episode of Real... Nope. Why?
Because we introduce ourselves first. And
No, we don't. Not
was that your
Ned.
phone?
No, it was Abby. Okay. No.
Yeah,
no.
we go. This is the Amazing Amanda. This is the Uncanny Omar.
Not
and
in
today,
the title thing. Remember?
we don't
on
do
this episode, and we go, Ch, and then we say, hey, this is Amanda and Omar.
Okay.
And today we're going to talk
you know
about...
what? It's your baby. You
We
do.
done it? Okay.
I know. I just because we do it live so often.
You forgot that we...
Okay.
This...
So we do. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. And...
Shazam! Fury of the Gods is the name.
Okay.
of it.
First, so if we are up that bad already with the title.
The Fury of the Gods? No, just Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Fury of the Gods.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yes. Do you have the cast like memorize? Like
Well,
who's my
big
girl?
people.
Who's the big people?
Okay, we have Megan Good, who plays the...
Nobody.
That is her.
Yeah, that's her. Oh, look, look,
Yeah, I know why they fucked that up.
Okay.
I'll disappoint you, IMDb. I can't trust you now. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. All right.
All right. You ready?
Okay.
Oh, what's her name?
Grace Carolyn Curry. How do I remember that? I'm not supposed to remember. You are.
Oh, he was the original Shazam in the 70s or the 70s show.
Oh, I don't know.
He made a cameo in this.
Did he really?
Yeah, I told you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did in the movie theater. I said that's the guy that played
I missed
Billy
it.
Batson.
Oh, I missed that.
You don't listen to me?
Was he also with Astro Angel, who was playing Billy Batson?
It was that scene where he goes, Captain Marvel. He's the only one in the movie that called him Captain Marvel.
Oh, I missed that. Wait, I thought you were talking about him calling him Captain Marvel.
No, I was saying that's the guy. And you were like, all right, okay.
On this episode of
I
Real
was blowing.
Talk.
I was blowing.
Okay, you done blowing?
What's that?
Nothing. All right. On this episode of Reels Talk, we'll be doing our review of Shazam. On this episode of Reels Talk.
One more time.
Okay.
One more time.
On this episode of Reels Talk, we'll be doing our review of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So stay tuned.
Okay. So I messed that one up because I thought you were going to say Shazam, and we cut it there.
And last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be near... Nope.
So
What the hell?
So close.
Okay, right? Okay, I'll start from the beginning because you can't edit in between that.
So thank you guys so much for watching.
Oh, yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Nope, Grace Carolyn Curry.
That's not her.
Yes?
This is the wrong one. Okay, Grace Caroline
Curry. Curry like chicken.
Nope. Don't look at me. Just look at the camera and you count. 3.
Oh, I thought you were counting for me.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, right?
Yeah. Ready? 3, 2. Nope. Camera. Okay. 3, 2. We don't say 1. We don't say 1. We don't say 1. We don't say 1.
Okay, just do it again.
3, 2.
Okay, go. Okay.
Then film. Okay. 3, 2.
Hey everyone, Amazing Amanda here with my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
Okay. 3, 2. Don't nod your head. Just look at the camera, and then we start. Okay.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay. Are you sure?
No. How's the Wonder Woman theme go?
That's a good one.